magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? This Saturday night. Ooh, it's a bit of a busy Saturday night. How we all doing? This is the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I am your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I am the voice you hear Monday to Friday. And it was an interesting week, to say the least. Let me just pull up some other stuff here, too. Pull up a whole bunch of things to talk to you guys. So, it was a on and off week here in the Transformer world. We had an unexpected kind of like live stream thing that they did. We got some items that showed up in retail that we didn't expect because Super 7's like that. They don't announce anything. They just kind of boom, there it is. I guess they expect Target to probably announce it. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. We'll talk about it. Even some drama on the social medias, which are kind of funny because it always is a reflection of how things are in the world. But let's jump into it. We'll cover the news. We'll take some super chats from the fans. Didn't get much in the mail this week, unfortunately. So no new cool stuff to talk about toy-wise, but there is some sales this week because we are coming into Black Friday coming up. So we'll cover that too and stuff that you could look for. But let's start with first, Tigatron. So this was something that showed up early this week, totally unexpected in all the Targets across the United States. It shipped in a case with the Optimus Primal that was done in the Burning Convoy colors, the clear version. So in a case, you're going to have 3 Tigatrons and 3 Optimus Primals. We knew about the Optimus Primals because those kind of like leaked out early, but we knew nothing about the Tigatron. And here he is. Here's Tigatron. He's going to be part of Target. He's going to be $17.99, available right now in Target. And straight up, just like Mikey and Louie said, it's a white Cheetor. They didn't do any new sculpting. The most obvious thing is the head sculpt. I mean, if they at least could have like did like the Tigatron head, like the robot mode head, it would have been a little more softer on it. I mean, you can if you like squint, you know, the chest could be interpreted as one or the other. But it is what it is. Pretty cool stuff. By the way, totally forgot to do some shout outs. We got Tilib, we got Mikey and Louie, we got Joseph Ritter is here too. Patrick Brown is here. Robotimus Toys. We got Sheriff is here. Horned Owl Bigums. Cringe McCringle is also here. T-Formers 2002. But I'm not missing nobody else of the YouTube members or Patreon people. Roman Schillen. We got Princeton Phalanx 59. Orlando is here. Timmy K. Poindexter. I think I got everybody. So let's jump into the other stuff. So yeah, so this is available now. You know, I like Reaction. I kind of dig what they're doing. It's just sometimes the prices are all over the place. But this is supposedly a Target exclusive, judging by the case assortment and came in. But it's out there, $17.99. Go get it, yo, if you are interested in some Tigatron action. In all honesty, if I could pick this up, I probably would. I dig it. We covered this quickly last week, but I just want to just go over it too, because on top of the other Target related stuff, we have the situation, you know, of all these listings here. I did an individual segment about it, and there's a whole bunch of Joseph. Do I always misspell your name? Is it Ritter? I don't know. I speak 3 different languages. So I'm surprised I do well at one. But yeah, so we got a whole bunch of listings here. Again, I did an individual segment about it early this week. I dive deep into these, explaining what's going on and everything. So if you want to kind of get a nice big visual going on of what's happening with that, go check it out. I mean, I'm hyped about the Cannonball. I think that's pretty cool. The Dino King, I mean, who isn't hyped about that one? Not to mention it was something we saw from a mile away. Go check out that individual segment. I really like dive deep into everything. Pretty cool stuff. So let's cover what we got. So first we had a Transformer Tuesday. That was the first thing. We had one live stream. Oh, here's our fan stream, Transformer Tuesday. Pretty hype. And then we had another live stream later. But first we have this one. we have the Reactivate stuff. So we finally got to see the packaging, how it's intended to be, not that Transformer Rise packaging that was floating around, that early packaging that was not meant to be. So here it is. Here's what we got. And these are going to be $62.99. So the first thing with that, okay, it's a Voyager, it's a deluxe. If you took Voyager price points and deluxe price points, we actually end up at like 58.98. So they added a couple bucks on there. I guess maybe because it's a video game item and they feel they could maybe make a little more money on it. Uh, I could pretty much tell that a lot of fans have not been happy about the price because while they talked about, oh, these are going to be limited on the website. There's not going to be many on Hasbro Pulse to pick up. And even then, they said it was limited and it was still 3 per customer. As of this recording, as of this live stream, both the Optimus Soundwave 2-pack and the Bumblebee Starscream are still not sold out. So that is, I think that's fans kind of going like, not liking the sticker shock there, extra $3. Why is that? It's not like it comes with extra accessories or a whole bunch of blast effects or something. It's 2 figures that come with their weapons. That's it. So the extra $3 to $4, I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's because they talked about how it has a window on the packaging. And I guess Hasbro returning back to Windows mean we have to pay for it. I hope that's not the case, but we will see. Anyways, the Starscream and the Bumblebee we've seen to death already, but the big one was, of course, was getting to see that Soundwave with the Optimus. I also forgot to mention I resized the side by sides. Apparently, Hasbro they made the Bumblebee the same size of the Starscream in their photos. So I kind of resized the photos to kind of give a more true to size in the middle there, the bottom middle. And it's the same thing with the Soundwave to the Optimus. They made them way taller than they should be, those deluxes. But yeah, we got to see the Soundwave finally, get to see how it looks. That Optimus, I will admit, is pretty freaking awesome. I think it looks really good. I dig how it's a very good marriage of that more modern aesthetic that we have. Let's say the Travis Knight Bumblebee movie, and of course the Rise of the Beast movie mixed with some G1. It's got a little bit of that video game flavor to it with the off-road and fighting on New York against the Quintessons. I think it looks great. Opening chest matrix, which is a given at this point. Ion Blaster, Energon Axe, all looking good. Soundwave, I don't know. The photos that Hasbro took here don't really sell it very well. Because you look at these photos and you're like, I don't know, who did the poses for that Soundwave? Does the chest open up? They didn't address that. Even the official Optimus, they didn't address the chest opening up. This photo here that I have comes from someone getting the toy early. But the Soundwave, here's some better photos, like the top left on the back of the box, which kind of sell in the toy a little better. But it is, I don't know. I'm not feeling the Soundwave. Really not. I don't know. Looks kind of funky. Maybe if there's a little more to it in the end. Maybe if there is more, like, an opening chest, some cassettes or something. But if it doesn't really do that, I don't know. I have so many Soundwaves already. I have so many Soundwaves already that turn into mobile vehicles, whether it be the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron versions, the animated versions, even my Cyberverse versions. Do I need another one? How much more is this one going to be unique in the video game? I don't know, unless that Soundwave is some super cool, important character in the video game. I don't really see myself being too excited about this one. But the Optimus is part of that 2-pack. And well, one comes with the other. So chances are I'm still going to end up with this at the end of the day at some point. But as we stand right now, not sold out. Available on Hasbro Pulse right now, $62.99. BMAX said these are supposed to ship before the end of the year, but the website says February 1st, 2024. So take that with the grain of salt. I don't know which is the true ship out date. But historically, Hasbro Pulse has been accurate with their ship out dates. So chances are if you pre-order from the website here, you're probably going to get it in February. Unless there's a mistake, unless the web administrator put the wrong numbers on there. But we will see. We will see. Joseph says, this holiday, give with your heart, give Funkos. Uglier, the better to Protoman, and give the rest cash to Hasbro. Well, like I always say, if you want to give me a Funko Pop, go on eBay and get me that NFT Hot Rod Funko Pop. Not the actual NFT, the physical one. The physical Funko Pop of the NFT Hot Rod. I will gladly take that one. Aside from that, what else does Funko do? Funko doesn't do a lot of other good. They have those articulated basketball figures. Those are kind of cool. But that's about it, really. I wish they did like hockey guys too. That'd be really nice. Anyways, thank you, Joseph, for that. But so yeah, check it out. $62.99 for those two sets, if that interests you, if that's your jam. But I don't know. Also, one thing that we haven't seen yet is we do have this Megatron design that's been kicking around from the Transformers Reactivate video game. So you're pretty much looking at what Megatron is going to look like when he gets a figure and how he's going to look in the game. It's just right now we don't know how he's going to be distributed, what if he's going to be in a two-pack, which character that'll be with. We will see. I think they did the smart choice though, but by not putting the Megatron with an Optimus. Megatron's also going to probably be a Voyager, so they got to pair him off with a deluxe class figure to kind of balance it out. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Buckethead Tank Megatron. Pretty sure a lot of people will dig picking this one up. Other stuff, good pickup news too, and this one I was excited about, maybe because I'm one of the few people that still goes to comic book stores, but we had the announcement this week that this year, after 5 years, Free Comic Book Day is going to be having a Transformer book again. Go check out my individual segment about that this week. I went through the deep history of Transformers and Free Comic Book Day, and just Free Comic Book Day as a whole, really, and why this is an important day for your comic book store, why you should go check it out. Go support your local comic book store because they're pretty much hurting right now. And hey, you get to go to your store, you'll get a free Transformer comic. They'll probably have some other sales. My local comic book stores, every time they do Free Comic Book Day, there's always like, hey, everything in the store 20% off or 30% off. Or they'll do like crazy clearance on dead stock and stuff. And guess what? There's going to be toys probably, there's going to be merch. So go check it out. Go to freecomicbookday.com. They have a store locator on their website. So if you want to know if there's a local comic book store in your area that is participating, you could use the website to find that. So pretty cool. Again, the first May, the first Saturday of May, so it'll be May the 4th, which also falls on the Star Wars May the 4th Be With You Day. So it's probably going to be a pretty crazy day. It's still quite a few months away, but I'm glad that the news is out there now. They actually also showed off some of the other books. It's not the complete list of everything, but hey, a Transformer book, so that's pretty hype. Pretty hype. I'm very excited about that. One of my favorite days of the year. No joke. No joke. Let's talk now about that stream. So, on top of the Transformer Tuesday fan stream that we also had a surprise like, hey, we're going to do an unboxing of Deathsaurus stream. I did a segment. I broke down everything that was said in between the lines on that. Pretty cool segment by Ben and Evan. A lot of cool stuff was talked about. A good updates on the Deathsaurus. I'm excited about the Deathsaurus. I stand by. I feel that the pricing is a little out of there, and it's an item that I feel could have been given a much more broader release. But one thing that Evan said, and I posted this on Twitter, and it went a little viral, was Evan mentioned how at one point in the planning stages, they wanted to do a Studio Series 86 Grimlock into a potential Deathsaurus. Like if they were going to do a mass retail release. Now, this would have been a leader class as a result. I still firmly believe the product that we got, if you took away all the bells and whistles, could have been a Commander easy. But hey, this could have been a leader. I don't think it looks too bad. I mean, this is obviously a concept by Austin here. Maybe it wouldn't have had the Breastmasters and the same kind of, I guess we could say spirit of it. Probably would have been more like, the Battle Masters were using 5mm pegs or 3mm pegs with a chest. Maybe they would have fixed, they would have got rid of that part on Grimlock's chest. But I mean, it works surprisingly. And what is so true of the Transformer fandom, so very true, which was there was people that absolutely loved this idea, and there was tons of people that absolutely hated this idea and thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And when you know, no joke, look at my tweet about it. There is people arguing amongst each other, and I end up getting wrapped up in these tweets as a result in the mentions. Like it's like I would like look at my phone after like not touching it for like 2 hours because I don't really look at my phone for social media, and then I'd be like, why do I have like 200 notifications? You know, that's why I don't turn on notifications on my phone. I have to click on Twitter using Safari app because I don't even keep this. I don't even have the Twitter app on my phone. I never bother with that stuff. But it was insane, 200, and it was just people arguing. Oh, it's the stupidest thing. Oh, why would they even think of doing that? We got so much better with Haslab. And then the flip side of it, no, it's amazing. They should have done this. It would have been affordable for fans. You're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. And then it was just like, wow, okay. But it shows in the end, like it's 50-50. It was either the greatest idea ever or the dumbest idea ever. Me personally, I think it's pretty cool. I'm still much more happier with what Haslab did, although the sticker shock for me is, always the case. Not really feeling it. I'm very curious how they would have done though, but it is kind of smart. When you really think about how Grimlock's side pieces work, that make the front of his dino arms and everything. That easily folds and does the wings for a Deathsaurus. The way his dino head tucks back, same thing like the original Deathsaurus toy. Like there's so much similar vibes that it could have worked. It really could have worked. But at the end of the day, still think we probably got the better product. But was it better at 189.99 and then having to wait like almost a year? That's completely up to you. Completely up to you, but still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. What does Mikey and Louie say? So everyone is arguing about the hypothetical thing that doesn't mean anything. Well, welcome to social media, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There was like I was just sharing this to go, hey guys, this is what hypothetically we could have gotten, and then it was just like, oh, internet be internet, baby. Anyway, speaking of the internet was made for orgy mode. So gotta love this podcast, eh? Uh so what do we got here? So it seems that Mark Mayer updated his Instagram today to let us see what the Magmasaurus mode, as they like to call it here, is going to look like for our brand new commander class Magmatron for Transformers Legacy United. And yeah, looks pretty damn good. Looks like the original orgy mode that existed for uh, for the original Beast Wars Neo character. So it's able to pull it off amazingly. I'm flabbergasted how well that thing turned out. They literally took the original toy and brought it back to the modern era, and it just looks amazing what they've done. I can't wait to like even see how those individual robots are, like the little dinos, how they're articulated and everything. Whoa, Proto Man, think of the children. Well, if it's Sunday night and you're watching the Transformer Slag podcast, I apologize. But what I do suggest is get your mom and dad together and ask them what an orgy is. It means a plentiful amount of something. An orgy means to have a like behind me is an orgy of Transformers. What you do with that word afterwards, I'm not responsible for. But yeah, looks really good. Very impressed. Very, very impressed with how this turned out. Every facet of the original toy was slavishly kept here. The well, I guess we'll call it the spark crystals were kept on it. The way the sword works. I think the only thing missing is like I guess maybe the wing, spring kind of gimmicks and stuff. Like the gimmicky stuff that probably existed, spring moving gimmicks and everything didn't matter. But like in terms of the essence of the figure, it looks amazing. What's up, Aaron? What's up? But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Very excited about this. Super hyped about it. And yeah, that's it more or less. That's more or less what we got this week. We do have some great announcements. A lot of cool stuff popping off. I just got to find all my slides here and everything because everything was going nutty. Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh no, did I not put my new slide for? Oh no, the sale. Oh man, that slide didn't go through. It didn't go through. Oh no. Oh well, I guess I'll just talk about it then. So, Symbiote Studios has a sale. Wow, I didn't put that slide after I spent all that time making it. I'll put it on the Twitter. So Symbiote Studios is having a sale starting today. So if you go on symbiotestudios.com, their Transformer plushes are 50% off. Use promo code HOLIDAY23. Someone could post it in the chat too. Maybe Joseph could do that. Holiday23 promo code and get 50% off your order of Transformer plush. Go get yourself some good plush. Go get yourself a beautiful melon looking hound over here. He's looking good. So symbiotestudios.com. Go do it. Really good stuff indeed. I believe it also applies to some of the other stuff too, but I mean, you got to get that slag. You got to get the slag. The San Diego Comic-Con slag. You got to get it. Get the slag, get the hound, you know? I think already the Soundwave and the Optimus sold out as we're speaking. Like, it's crazy. So 50% off, guys. Great time to get these plushes. And more to come in the future, of course. We got that Ultra Magnus that's in the pipes. So stay tuned for that as well as others. Can confirm Holiday 23 is live. Just made a purchase earlier. Thank you, El Kevo. Perfecto. Perfecto. Looking good. So go get yourself some plush, some pins, some t-shirts, you know? Go get yourself a nice he's over here. Catnip's chilling over here. Actually, he's chilling back there too. Over there chilling, judging me. You know what they say about cats? They don't bite, they judge. So go check it out again, symbiotestudios.com. And even the rest, you know, maybe you want to get some My Little Pony, some Power Rangers, some G.I. Joe, some Magic the Gathering pins. I suggest the Magic the Gathering pins personally also. I think those pins are awesome. I need to get more of those. I want to get some more of those Magic the Gathering pins. They're really cool. But that's just me. Go check it out, guys. symbiotestudios.com. And of course, And Deceits. This might be my last week of talking about And Deceits. I don't know if that's going to be up there anymore. I have to talk with them. But And Deceits, again, check them out too. Check out their great stuff going on with their beautiful seats. Again, thank you, And Deceits, for sending me a beautiful Transformer chair and supporting the podcast, making sure my spinal cord is straight when you have to sit down multiple hours out of the day. Man, looking good, looking good. Again, promo code PROTOMAN, get 15% off your order at And Seats. The chairs are on sale right now, and it is stackable, the promo code. So go check that out too. A nice little Black Friday sale for your And Seats. And of course, Aaron Archer. Go check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. He's in the chat right now, chilling and judging me. Going, what is with this guy? What is he doing? What is he doing? The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We talk about the creation of Masterpiece. Go check out the latest segment out on the podcast right now. Again, throw that search engine, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, on YouTube and go check out the channel. Go subscribe. Go watch the segment. If you're listening to this voice, why aren't you listening to this voice over there too? Where we talk about the history of Masterpiece, as well as a whole bunch of other Transformer products, Batman products, Aliens, Predators, what else? Jurassic Park, Star Wars. We cover a little bit of everything. Yeah, they are nice chairs, Mikey and Louie. I want to get the Bumblebee one too. I'm going to bug them to send me a Bumblebee. And a seats. Send me a Bumblebee chair. But yeah, check it out, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. And of course, Aaron's new book, The Art of Transforming Robots, Volume 2, Color Edition, on archermonster.com/shop. Go pick it up, yo. It's sold out super quick at TFCon Orlando. There is stock online on the website, so go pick it up if you are interested in getting 36 pages of full color Transformer action from that Unicron trilogy and beyond. Really good stuff in there. Brand new book on its way too, but get volume 2 before it sells out, because when it's gone, it's going to be gone. So pick it up. And of course, some brand new art, some brand new painted instruction stuff. We got a bunch of new Lego ones from Aaron Archer. We got some new Transformer ones. I love the Japanese Micron Detsetsu instructions that are used for the Skyboom shield there. That's pretty hype. That's like extra rare instructions. It's not just rare instructions, it's rare instructions but the Japanese kind. And then we got that Battle 2-pack from Classics back in the day with the Optimus and the Megatrons with some Cybertron in the background. We got some Lego stuff going on. Go check it out, archermonster.com/shop. Go pick yourself up some nice little painted instructions, one of a kind pieces for your collection, hand painted. What you own is one of a kind and it belongs to you. archermonster.com/shop. Shop to the hot. And that's it, more or less, for the news and the sponsors. Got a brand new Symbiote Studios logo up there, nice and red. Apparently, they say that using the color red too much in live streaming makes people agitated. That's what I've been told. They say blue is much more soothing and red agitates people, but whatever. Enjoy the red. My face doesn't agitate you enough. I don't know what will at that point. The only thing I got, I don't know if people even want to see this, but so I just did my grocery shopping and everything, and I thought this was just like the coolest nutcracker ever as a Canadian. It's a Canadian hockey goal because I played goalie my whole life as a hockey player. Canadian goalie nutcracker, and I was just like, that's the coolest thing. So when I set up my Christmas tree, that'll be next to it. So that's pretty hype. That's the only thing I got this week. I didn't even get much. There wasn't anything. The only I got like amiibos in the mail, like the new Zelda amiibos came out, but those are already in the game room. So not much else. Been a pretty quiet week. I think next week might be a little more busier for stuff and everything, but we'll see. So we'll get into some super chats. Hit that super chat button. Drop some super chats here. We'll talk. Yeah, it's very Canadian, Tom. It's extremely Canadian. It's a nutcracker for Christmas with the Canadian flag on it. That's a hockey goalie. But I just think it's so cool. I just like the details on it. It's really nice. And the hands articulated, so I guess you could like, I don't know, put a pencil in there or something. Still has the tag on it. But dig it. I really dig it. I think it's cool. It's cute. As a kid, I had this giant nutcracker living with my parents, and we always had it around the Christmas tree back in the day. So, but yeah, pretty hype stuff. Let's see. Clark Clint says just picked up the MPO1 Prime after listening to the pod. Oh, that's awesome. You know what? You know what? Like Clark, like that is such a unique item. I'm looking at mine right now. Like I have that one, I have the MP10, and then I have, was it 32 was the 4.0? And that one was so unique. It's so much heavier than all the others because there's so much heavy die cast in it. It has a light up gimmick, which really, I think, outside of, I think Primal has a light up gimmick with the pill batteries. Who else has a light up gimmick? Does Megatron I think Megatron has one in his cannon. Shockwave has one in his arm. Who else has light up gimmicks? I think that's it. Not a lot of masterpieces had electronics. And and Dinobot had light ups for his eyes too. Beast Wars. And but glowing matrix, the mouthpiece that moves, the little hidden mouth that's under it, the vents, the flip ups, all those things that even the updated masterpieces don't have. So it's pretty hype. Pretty impressed with it. And it was the first one. They hit a home run right out of the park. T-Formers 2002, Red works with Slag, tends to be very aggressive. Well, the red face Slag was the first ever Canadian exclusive, and Slag's face was red, so maybe it works out in the end. Works out in the end. Cringe McCringy, that nutcracker reminds me of my grandma. You trying to say I'm old, brother? Yeah, maybe a little bit. A little old. She had a whole collection when to put them out for Christmas. Well, that's just it. Like I had memories, like me and my sister, we each had a nutcracker, like these nice big wooden ones. I think we got them from my grandparents on my father's side. I'm not too sure. I'd have to ask my parents. But I just always remember whenever Christmas happened, those two would be out there kind of like as two pillars because they were big. They were like, I think they were like 13, 14 inches. And they were really cool. And they're like the old school ones. Like they were made like in the 80s, like hardcore, really nice. And then I think one of them the hair, because a lot of nutcrackers they have like actual flocked hair. I think the hair on one of the old nutcrackers got chewed off by the dogs or something. But it is what it is. I dig them. I dig them. Not only red but orange can make people angry too. Well, then I guess Hot Rod must make people ridiculously angry. No wonder they hated him. It's like, ugh, he's gonna be the new leader of the Autobots. Ah, look at all that red and orange, or pink and magenta, depending on who you ask. But yeah, it is what it is. Just wear a shirt with a repaint Grimlock into Deathsaurus. That'll make people angry. Yeah, they should do like someone should make a shirt that's like justice for Studio Series 86 Grimlock and have like Deathsaurus under it. Something special about all the toys from that time. Well, you know what? I mean, I always say that, you know, growing up with someone who is a toy collector, my father is a toy collector, and he collects stuff from his era. And I would go with him to his toy conventions, the die-cast car conventions, the record conventions, vinyl records. And I would see, like it's not that it's, the toys of that era are special, is that those were the best times for your life. When you think of times when you didn't have to worry about bills, you didn't have to, like, even school, you didn't have to worry about. Yeah, you went to school as a kid, but how hard was grade school, really? How hard was early high school, really? You pretty much had to show up, you know? And, those were like carefree times. And I think that our brain, in a lot of ways, is like a muscle. It kind of just remembers, it remembers that like the scars of the pain of bad times and the relaxed muscles of the good times. And me, I was an 80s kid and a 90s kid. So like like I like to say that some of the toys that I grew up with that were the most profound with me were like mid 80s to early 90s toys. And that's like micro play sets, that like micro machines, and like a Mighty Max. I always have a Doom Zone Mighty Max near me. In this huge transformer room, I always have like certain key items nearby on my desk of just cool stuff from when I was growing up. um I loved Street Fighter, so like the Street Fighter GI Joe figures, X-Men figures from Toy Biz, and the Batman figures from Kenner. I mean, all those great things. Transformers was a small part of my childhood because I got in during that like late 86 Micromasters. Like that was like literally every Transformer I owned came from that era. A handful of bootleg GoBots, handful of McChangeables. The irony now, but back then you only had so many, but you appreciated what you had, you know? The boy version of Polly Pocket. That you'd be totally correct because here, let me just close the back. So Bluebird, if you guys could see that, did I hold it upside down? Bluebird was the company that made Mighty Max, and they also made Polly Pocket. And they made Polly Pocket first. Polly Pocket was a insane blowout success. Little tiny micro playsets, but for girls, who would have thought? And I remember even my sister had one. She had the vet playset, and those did so well that they did the boy version. And Mighty Max is hype. I love Mighty Max, and the Doom Zone Skull Dungeon playset will always be my favorite one because it has all the cool stuff. It has the little hidden doorway from the library into the chamber there. It has the outside of it acts as, and this is rare with Mighty Max, it actually acts as like an entrance, which is pretty cool. You don't usually see that with the Mighty Max toys. It's got like, let me show you here. So the Mighty Max podcast, apparently. It's got a little hidden compartment there. The little staircase that goes downstairs. Little moving stuff everywhere. I love Mighty Max. Love the show. Love the toys. Always loved it. We got a super chat. What's up? What's up? From VCXZ. Hope I'm saying that right. VCXC for the podcast. $5. Favorite hot rod colors. I like pink, but red is good too. I hate seeing orange dropped for yellow. Red and yellow makes me think of Hot Shot. Well, I find that before I'll answer the first part, I find that in Japanese pop culture, they love combining red and yellow. Like you think of like, let me just like bring it all the way back. So Japan, when they first did Gundam 0079, there was a character called Charles Namble, and he was this like ace pilot who wore red and yellow, and even his mecha was like a pinkish red and stuff, which was his Zaku. And they were kind of channeling that Red Baron from back in the day. The Red Baron was this famous German pilot who was like this ace pilot and stuff. And the Red Baron was shot down by this Canadian gunner who had like a white gunning suit, and that's where the Gundam versus Charles Namble, the white and red, white and blue suit versus the Red Baron, red and yellow. And then that dichotomy there of those two, because Gundam was such a huge pop culture aspect, was then used later on for, oh, hey, Ryu, who's Japanese, the white gi, Ken, blonde flowing hair, red gi, red and yellow. Move forward, Proto Man from Mega Man, which is my namesake. He fights against the blue bomber, which has some, lighter accents against the red and yellow. It's very common to use that. And same thing, you look at Optimus Prime, the red, white, and blue, and then you got Hot Rod, the red and yellow. They like that color combination. It's very popular, red with yellow. I don't know why. And then of course you mentioned, of course, like here's the recent Hot Shot that just came out. You know that one. Well, that one was homaging Hot Rod. So for you to say it looks like it reminds you of Hot Rod, but I mean, even where's this one here from Power Players? I actually picked up this figure not too long ago. Power Players, again using red and yellow. It's a very Proto Man looking figure. That's why I picked it up. But it's something where Japan loves that color combination. They love it. Red and yellow. Just it's like you also think of like the Chinese flag with the red and gold, or like you could say yellow combination that works with them too. There's just something about it that it flows properly, and they love you and using it. My favorite hot rod colors, I don't know. Like I've always felt one of my favorite pieces of hot rod merchandise was the Metal Force figure, not Metal Force. I think it was called Metal Force or Metal something. Um, I love this figure, and this doesn't have any reds. It uses more of that magenta. The face sculpt on it is like spot on to the Fluoro Deary animation model. And I keep this thing, no joke, literally above my tower. And it stares back at me every day. And I love that thing. And that's like one of my favorite pieces of hot rod merch. It's perfectly sculpted to how he looks. The Studio Series one I've always felt is like what is the best hot rod figure ever made, but its biggest flaw is the way that his spoiler was done. I find his spoiler's a little too Rodimus looking. You know what I mean? If you see in the back there, just a little too wide. If it was just a little lower, a little more wider, then it would be dead on. But great stuff. Love it. Look at it. Look how much they nailed it out of the park. Oh, and you got to get rid of those yellow pieces there, but whatever. That's on the mold. Couldn't change that. But look how dead on they nailed that. That's why again, Studio Series did a fantastic job. Just need to fix that spoiler a little bit, get rid of those yellow knees and the yellow plastic in some areas. And then it's a 10 out of 10. And in my opinion, one day we'll get a 3.0 hot Rodimus masterpiece, and they'll use the Studio Series as kind of like the foundation of it. Robotimus toys. I have a green snake one for Mighty Max. Yeah, I have that one. I'm trying to like when I went to TFCon Orlando, one of my goals was to kind of like just get a whole bunch of different things and look for them. And man, prices are crazy right now. To get a complete Mighty Max anything, forget about it. But yeah, anyways, thank you for the super chat, VCXZ. Thank you for the love and support. I'll go with that pink color scheme. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it because it's more screen accurate. And when I think of Hot Rod, I always think of the '86 movie. And I saw the '86 movie in theaters as a kid, so that pink, I called it the red and yellow sports car to my dad, but you know, to me it was always it's always that pink. Clark says, which Unicron trilogy Optimus combiner is my favorite? Well, easily of the Unicron trilogy, I find that Galaxy Force, aka Cybertron Optimus Prime, is the best. And the way that his combination gimmick works is very Gao Geiger. I like, the Liger Jack, or what was it called there? Oh my god, I think it was Liger Jack. Yeah, Liger Jack, aka uh, what was his English name? Liger Jack was. I'm used to the Japanese dub. I apologize. It was, what did they call him in Japan? It was Overhaul. Did they call him in English? His Jackshot was his smaller form, which I believe was called Overhaul. I believe. I know they gave him like a weird Hall name. And then It was Leo Breaker. There we go, Leo Breaker. Because it was Leo Breaker because the other one was supposed to be called Trail Breaker, and then they didn't call it Trail Breaker in the end. See, this is how the brain works. It's like connect all those things. And I'm gonna probably see a million people typing Leo Breaker now, and here they come, Leo Breaker, Leo Breaker. Yeah. So Leo Breaker, like I dig that. I love that Gal Geiger kind of made the fist kind of thing, and then afterwards with the Sonic Bomber, which I believe they called Wing Saber, which that's not confusing with the story. Um, but Sonic Bomber combination, that especially the Japanese version. The Japanese version had the chrome chest, so you had that with the swords and everything. Very good. I loved everything that Optimus did. It was a fire truck. It had the opening chest. It had the mouthpiece that went down. Had the flight mode. I mean, the guy who designed all of that stuff is in the chat right now. So to ask me what's my favorite doesn't matter because I'm pretty sure. Aaron, what was your favorite of the three? Is it Armada? Is it Cybertron? Or are you going to give the amazing hot take of Voltron-esque Energon slash Superlink, which it's fun too. I kind of like that one also. I mean, the truck, the trailer is kind of a waste of space. It really is just storage for those drones. It doesn't really do much else, which is unfortunate. It would have been cool if it had some kind of really like, fleshed out base mode or something outside of just some flaps. But otherwise, I mean, I think it was cool. I liked it. I liked it. Little, let's ignore that kind of thick thick robot mode. Let's see. The pink retro issue hot rod is fantastic. Yeah, got it. Chilling right there. There's the box. Actually, it's in the hot rod display, but the Breaker of Leos. Tom McNeil. I may need to go back and watch those episodes. Never really got into the Unicron trilogy. I suggest again, please watch it in Japanese. Unfortunately, the American versions of them kind of cut stuff. They used unfinished footage. You could easily, using some dubious means, find all of the Unicron trilogy, Micron Detsetsu, Superlink, and Galaxy Force, the Japanese versions, English subtitled, and they are fantastic. They have amazing music in the Japanese version, great voice acting. The animation is actually completed and nice. The first like 3 episodes of Cybertron, like I don't know what was going on there. They were using like incomplete CG models or something that were like not even finalized. It was very weird, very very weird. So watch it in Japanese. Do yourself a favor. Uh, Mikey Mooney says it's crazy, but I actually like the Energon combiner one. I think it's cool. Like again, maybe it's because I like Voltron and I like Super Sentai stuff like Power Rangers and everything. But I dig it. I think they're cool. There's a little bit of Thunderbirds kind of being channeled in there too, kind of like the Thunderbird units. Each one of them are numbered, and one of them's a drill. Which one of the Thunderbird units? Not of the original 5, but the extra units was a drill. So a little bit of that Thunderbirds kind of vibe that I also grew up with as a kid and enjoyed. So there's a lot of things going on with it that I like. And they never did like a good proper mainline repaint of it, so clearly there wasn't a lot of demand for it. But that's something I know one day we're going to talk about. Maybe next year for the Toy Armada, we're going to cover Energon for its 20th anniversary. Energon 20th anniversary. No one's going to watch that episode. It's probably the least liked of but it does have Energon does have a few good things going for it. It was probably of all the Transformer series we've had literally up to this point, it was one of the more darker written ones that was aimed for an older audience. And unfortunately just didn't pan out in the end. And I like Kicker. I like Kicker. I'm one of the few people I don't know why people hate Kicker. I actually like him. But maybe again I watched the Japanese version. Mikey and Louie was our Optimus Maximus before the real Optimus Maximus. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I dig it. I dig it. Robotimus Toys recently watched the Superlink stuff. Next, Galaxy Force. Yeah, well, there you go. And Galaxy Force is really good. It's really good. I find that the Japanese dub, because the Western version, they moved around the episode order for some reason. Again, the animation's not finished. It's literally a comedy dub in a lot of ways. So Do yourself a favor, watch the Japanese version. It's out there. You could find it and you'll love it. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. What else did I open up? Oh, I opened up this recently. I was going to take photos of it. I don't know. I opened up my Lin Kurosawa from Aliens versus Predator. I bought her on the cheap at TFCon Orlando. I didn't want to get the Arnold one when it was full price with NECA. Gosh, how much was that? I think the 2 pack of this at Toys R Us Canada was like $70. And I was like, ugh, I want it, but I don't want it for $70. And this was $9.99 at TFCon Orlando. Thank you. I will gladly take that. T-Formers 2002. It's sad that Energon cut one of the better Superlink episodes entirely. You know what? It cut episodes. It got rid of the clip episodes. The way that they framed the five. So in Superlink, one of the episodes actually celebrates the 500th Transformer episode, which was that big tournament. That tournament is totally taken out of context in the English version. So again, go back and watch the Japanese version. You're doing yourself a disservice by watching the dub, unfortunately. El Kevo with $5 on the super chat. Thank you, El Kevo. Never been to a TFCon, and I'm thinking about TFCon LA. What can you say that would entice me to go? I can afford it, but I can't make up my mind. Well, I kept saying this when I was at TFCon Orlando because people were asking me. They were saying, should I go to TFCon Toronto or TFCon LA? And this is coming from me who lives in Canada. Go to LA. LA is going to be crazy. I don't know if it's ever going to be crazy like that again. Let's put it that way. It's the 40th anniversary of Transformers. It's going to be located right in the heart of where all the voice actors live. So don't take my word for it, but I'm just going to say this now. There's going to be a lot of G1 voice actors and other voice actors. When you don't have to fly out voice actors and they could just show up, it's very easy to set up a con. Like, no joke, there's going to be like 30 voice actors. Like TFCon Orlando that just passed. How many voice actors was there? I think there was like 4. I think there was 4. Victor Corelli, David Kay. Was David Kay there? No, David Kay wasn't there. Gary Chalk, Dan Gilbazon. So there was 3. Am I forgetting somebody? Who else was there voice actor wise? I think it was like 4 at most. I think there's like 4 voice actors. There's going to be like 30. Peter Cullen is already going to be there. Optimus Prime. Take a guess who else is going to be there. A lot of people. It's going to be crazy. Crazy how many voice actors are going to be there. Let alone it's West Coast, which means, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, the better toy dealers, they're located in the West Coast. You're more likely to get international dealers from Japan because it's more of a flyover thing. Where my buddy Azusa, who did BotCon for years, he hated the East Coast BotCons, like the Floridas and the stuff, because it was so much more of a flight for him. It's like going to the center of the earth for him, where so much easier, to just go from Japan West Coast, China West Coast. So the dealers are going to be off the hook. Like it's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be an amazing year, and it's something that if you skip it and then you go to another TFCon later, it's not going to be the same. It's really not going to be the same. That's the like, and same thing, Toronto. Like, it's sad to say, people were asking me, it's like, should I go to LA or Toronto? I'm like, I'll be honest with you. And I was like, this was when I was sitting in Orlando. I'm like, look around this room in Orlando. It's maybe 1/4 the size. How many guests? We're going to have maybe 3 to 4 voice actors. It's not structured for it. And it's not that TFCon Toronto sucks. It's just, it's a Canadian convention. If, if all of Canada fits in Southern California, and that means that's the percentage of the population, that should also be the percentage of the size of the convention in comparison. But yeah, TFCon LA is going to be nuts. It is going to be nuts. I heavily suggest, if you haven't gotten a hotel room yet, get it ASAP because it's going to sell out. I know those hotels are going to sell out for sure. If not already, I think they are sold out already. Now that I think about it, I think it is sold out. So it is something where you got, like, if it is sold out, try to find a local hotel that's maybe 5 minutes away or something. It's It's going to be crazy. You're going to like even like whatever comes afterwards. I think TFCon Baltimore is going to be happening. No offense to Baltimore, but it's not going to be like LA. It's just a location thing. The fact that all the voice actors are there. The voice of Daniel Witwicky, David Mendenhall, he literally just showed up on like what was it, the Saturday or something? He just showed up. He's like, "Oh, you guys are in town?" He shows up, he got a table. Like it's so easy to get voice actors because it's right in the hub. You don't have to fly them out, you don't have to give them a hotel room. They come, they get a table, they sign autographs, they make money, they go home. It's in their backyard. And then they come back the next day. It's so easy. Where if you do it anywhere else, you got to fly them out. You got to give them a hotel room. You know, it's great. It's great. It's absolutely great. Alden Tolbert for the, and again, thank you, El Kevo, for the super chat. I heavily suggest you go, and I'll be there, and Aaron will be there, and Larry will be there, and Jaws D will be there. So it can't be that bad. Alden Tolbert with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Alden. Will Hasbro make an Optimus and Megazord crossover in the future? I've always felt out of all the brands that could be done with crossovers, I've always felt that Power Rangers, from a narrative standpoint, was one of the easier ones to do. I mean, just think about it. Just think like, let's say, look, you go for the greatest hits, right? So it's Mighty Morphin, Dinosaurs, Dinobots. Yeah, they're not going to scale with each other. The Dinosaurs are huge, but it's like Dinosaurs versus Dinobots. You know, Nemesis, Volcanicus combined against Megazord. It writes itself. You know, it writes itself. Lord Zed against Megatron. It writes itself. It's so easy. It's so easy. There's so much like it's like, okay, Rita Repulsa gets locked away thousands of years ago. The Cybertronians were around millions of years ago when she got locked away. After 10,000 years, I'm free. Like it writes itself. You don't even need me to write it. Get AI to write it. Fill it up. I know I'm saying something sacrilege, but it's like that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is to write that story. And then the toys, of course, they'll sell well. People who collect Power Rangers love giant robots. People who collect Transformers, I think they like giant robots. So, it's one thing if you're doing Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. Maybe those are, people like fighting Kung Fu, Ninja Turtles fighting Kung Fu. Maybe there's that crossover. And they're both 90s kids properties, so that works out too. But like there might not be that crossover. You do Transformers and wrestling, or if you do Transformers and other stuff, it might not cross over as well. But you do Transformers and Power Rangers, there's a lot more flavor there that works out. I think that's why stuff like the Back to the Future, one did so well because it's such an iconic car, and Transformers is all about iconic cars, where some of the later stuff didn't do as well because the DNA wasn't there. I've always felt Power Rangers would work. For sure. For sure. I mean, I could write it if you want me to write it. Boom Studio, not Boom Studio. Boom Studios would probably have to get the rights for it because let's think it works something out with Skybound. But I'll write it. It'll be a very easy thing to write. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it, but I'm just saying. Patrick Brown says, "Me, I'm a huge Power Ranger collector as a fan of Transformers. Well, so am I. I love Sentai. I love Power Rangers. I literally was explaining, no joke, for like 2 hours to a friend that asked me because he knew nothing about Super Sentai. He only knew Power Rangers. And he asked me, he's like, has every year of Power Rangers matched up with Super Sentai? And I like literally showed him the side by sides. And I had to explain to him Die Ranger with, the Thunder Megazord and stuff and everything. Complicated stuff. Orlando Chavez with the YouTube member question. Is there any lore behind Machine Wars line? Was it supposed to fit into the G1 G2 storyline? Interesting one. So originally when Machine Wars came out in 1997, KB Toys exclusive, the only lore that you could pull away from it, which was what was in the bios. And there wasn't much stuff that was said in the bios that suggested anything except one single line that people took very seriously at the time. which was in Megatron's bio in Machine Wars. It said Megatron returns to the skies. So it implied that if you look at like what existed at the time of Transformer toys, you had a Megatron that had flight. So what's a Megatron that flies? Like was there a flying Megatron? There was supposed to be an ATB Megatron that was going to get a toy that was supposed to be part of G2. So the belief is there's some kind of connection with it being a sequel to Generation 2. That's what a lot of people have speculated. Years later, I talked with Josh Burcham. I remember Josh Burcham sent me a Skype message. I don't know if Josh wants me to talk about this publicly, but I don't know. But I just remember Josh asking me like, "Hey, what do you think a Machine Wars storyline would be like, and like where it would fit in the continuity?" And I gave him a few ideas. Like I told him it could be after G2, it could be after Beast Machines, like a kind of like a bridge to afterwards, like the return to machines, after a trans organic world. And then ultimately in the end, he did the Machine Wars comic book with Bakon, which I was doing stuff with Bakon around that time too. So but yeah, Josh Burcham kind of created the lore for it. And I remember talking with him like, no joke, it must have been like 2 years or 3 years prior to that Bakon box set. I wonder if is Burcham here? I don't know if he's in the chat, but I know Perez is in the chat sometimes. But like it's just I remember that conversation. Like, just where do you think it fits in? And I was like, there's a few places it could work, but I have always felt like in the end, after G2, like like I always felt like G2 to Beast Wars, there's this huge gap, and you could put Machine Wars right in there. What happened to Optimus Prime? Why isn't Optimus Prime around when Beast Wars starts up? What is happening in the Beast Wars timeline? Where's Optimus Prime? What happened to all these other characters? There was some great art. Let me grab the Genesis book. One moment, guys. Grab the Genesis art book done by Image Comics back in the day. Great book. It one piece of art in here that kind of suggests something. Where is it? Let me find it. Bear with me. Here, like suggesting like here, like a machine wars Starscream assuming command. You know, is that canon? We don't know. Who did the art on that one? That was Matt. Matt did that one. Matt did that one. Very good, Matt. Did not expect that from you. I think there was another one. I think there was the other one too in this one. No, the rest of it is Dreamwave stuff. A lot of it. Yeah, some Dan Kahana art. A lot of Pat Lee. I love this one here. So this one here from Makoto. Love that one. One day we're gonna do a book day, guys. I'm gonna when Black Friday's coming up. Eh, Black Friday's coming up. I'm gonna aim to get a second HD webcam, so we could have two HD webcams. We'll have one that's on this ugly face and one that's aimed at a table, and we're gonna have like books and stuff, and we're gonna go through some rare Transformer books and everything because people dig those. I know a lot of people love them. So that's where it kind of fits in, though, Orlando. That's kind of like it's officially due to Josh Burcham really doing that Bakon book. Kind of falls into post G2, which I'm fine with. I think it's cool. Rodimus Power toy unboxing. What do you think the next toy line feature will be? Well, it sounds like they're kind of like closing off Legacy. It's another trilogy that's kind of done now. We had Legacy, Legacy Evolution, and now Legacy United. Um, Assuming, and this is how Hasbro works, assuming what sells and what doesn't sell, they're going to just kind of double down on that. And the reality is that the sales of that legacy stuff and studio series is outselling, the more cartoon based stuff. Like Earthspark isn't really moving at all, sadly. It's clogging the shelves. Rise of the Beast did okay. I mean, Hasbro said the toy sales were satisfactory to them. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of Rise of the Beast products still kicking around, but you know, it's something where I think they're just going to continue what they're doing, celebrating like the 41st anniversary of Transformers, revisiting a lot of characters that probably didn't get done. Think of trademarks that are going to expire in 2024, 2025. Those characters are obviously going to be popping up at some point. So it's it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Michael Butcher is here. Hey Michael, I rarely see you in the live streams. But yeah, I mean getting back to Machine Wars though, like that was something that it's easily the shortest toy line of Transformers ever. I think it's what 8822, you know. That's gonna be 4 4. So you have eight basics, and then you have one not Voyager. We'll call it a Mega and a Leader, or a Mega and an Ultra on each side. So you got 12 in total, 12 figures the entire line. The only thing that sucks with it is the Thundercracker. Be careful with it. It's made out of brown plastic. It'll shatter to a million pieces, and it's a flip changer. So you can enjoy the entire line except one figure. One figure is a little touch and go, unfortunately. Um, so what am I hoping for from the next Transformer series? Huh. I don't know. I mean, I would like to just see stuff that hasn't been done yet. I or revisit characters that didn't get good figures. So it's something that do characters hasn't been done before. So let's get Botanica out there. Let's get better updates of certain obscure comic book characters. Maybe they could revisit some designs that haven't been done, like a good update. Like everyone's asking for gears. Finish the mini bots. Do the throttle bots. Finish the throttle. We got the Bumblebee. Let's do the rest of the throttle bots. That'd be pretty cool. Do some Japanese exclusive characters. If we live in a world where we could get Deathsaurus, we could get Dino King, we could get even Overlord in retail with Titan's Return. Give me some more Japanese characters. Do a Road Caesar. Hey, that's 3 cars. People like cars. Do a Road Caesar combiner. I don't know what you're going to call their Japanese names. Black. I don't know how you could call something blacker on American shelves, but Braver and Laster, they could maybe pull something off with a trademark. But it is pretty hype. Looking forward to seeing you at TFCon LA. You too, Michael. You too, man. Pretty hype. It's pretty hype. Um, very excited for TFCon Orlando. It's going to be a really good year. Really good year. Make sure you get your hotel rooms. Not like me. Make sure you get your hotel rooms early. Orlando Chavez, I was looking at my Quintesson Judge, and I was thinking that it might be able to be retooled into Botanica. I firmly believe it could be done. I mean, that's something that if you do an extensive retool to it, it could potentially be done, because it's something that Botanica's transformation. I mean, I don't have it nearby. I wish I did, but Bin Studios made a fantastic Botanica figure that really showed how it could be done, how it could do the flower mode, and how it could do the robot plant mode in a lot of ways. So I could see it happening. Robotomist says more Master Force stuff. Of course, everything Master Force. You kidding me? You want do more Power Masters or God Masters as they're called, Master Force. You do those characters. It's, I mean, geez, do more Shattered Glass repaints if you want to get more out of those molds and stuff too. There's a lot, in my opinion. There's a lot of meat still left on the bone of stuff for them to do. Not to mention going into look, Legacy United showed us they're willing to do Rescue Bots characters, Unicron trilogy characters, Japanese Beast Wars stuff. We're not getting Snarl. We're getting Tasmanian Kid. You know, we're not going to get Bone Crusher. We're probably going to get Bighorn. We're going to get Icard. We're going to get, Scuba. We're going to get Diver. We're going to get like Japanese stuff. Like I would dig all of that. Updates to those characters. Look, I have the original toys, but a lot of people, if they wanted to own those characters, they have to get those original toys, and they're very expensive today. And I don't want it that people would have to spend that kind of money. If they want to get Diver, they don't have to buy like an expensive Niagara-based playset and everything. They could just get like a cheap, like better articulated one that might be a core class or something. So it'd be pretty cool. T-Formers 2002, I completed my OG Machine Wars this year. as it's one of the 10 fans in the whole world that I'm already hyped to get some modern versions. Well, you know what? Those those TFCon exclusives definitely show that one day we'll probably see repaints of them on a third party nature. We're probably going to get. I know that I worked on the Machine Wars third party Optimus Prime. Oh, I can't reach the comic. I'm not going to bother. I also worked on the comic book for it with Josh Perez, and that was pretty fun. I love Machine Wars. I love like anytime there's any way to do anything. Especially with the third party guys. If there's an opportunity, I'll write something. I'll write a bio. I'll write a comic, and you know you'll definitely see more Machine Wars stuff from the third party guys because the molds are there. They're out there for sure. We already what's it called there? Hunter. That's the Soundwave, I think it's called Hunter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know third party, but you already have the Soundwave one that's out there. That's the Stalker mold. They're going to do Soundwave colors at some point, and then you'll get your masterpiece scale Machine Wars Soundwave. Probably come with some extra stuff too. Be pretty cool. Be very very cool. How much time we got? We got 45 minutes left in the live stream. But I mean, to me, like if I could pick like a few, I'd like like wish list stuff that make no sense from a business standpoint. I want to update Road King. Let's do a Road King for Master Force. I'd like to have him updated. That's kind of like one of the first ones I'd really like to see. Do it. Do. That's always like my go-to. Some of the female characters that didn't have like proper figures, like Lyzak would be cool. Maybe do some kind of robotic version of Aichan from Car Robots. There's little things that could be done because like Aichan never got a decent figure. She had a Wonder Festival exclusive, one of 100 made, which you could barely see it back there, and it was just this little clear figure, you know. Clark says, Proto, how were you able to land a gig writing for Transformer Comics? What's the story? The old quote from the legendary wrestler, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, said this the best. Business gets done at the bar. And I take that words to complete truth. The first time I met Aaron Archer was at the bar, 2008 BotCon. First time I met Jesse Witherich, where I got my writing gigs professionally for Transformer stuff, was at the bar. TFCon, Alex Milne was across from me at the table. He was working on early ongoing stuff. I want to say 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. Business gets done at the bar. You meet people that are it's kind of like a pseudo interview with a bottle in your hand in a lot of ways. And they knew who I was, and they kind of want to feel people out. It's one thing to go, oh, this person is qualified or they could write or something. They also want to feel people out sometimes. They want to talk to them and know if what they, like there could be content creators online that do like big extensive videos about the history of Transformers, but they could be reading off of a Wikipedia page. I just told you the entire history of like Machine War stuff. I didn't pull anything up. You know what I mean? You should see the wall of books. Like I'll literally, because I don't want to mess with the camera. I'll just take a picture for you. The wall of books, of Transformer books, and it just keeps going. And you get to see the camera in the shot too. But yeah, there's the camera. There you guys are. There you are. Like it's all art books, reference books, guidebooks. I just have everything here. Old school, no Wikipedia. So just sitting down with them and I also got the blessing from fellow artists that I got to work with in the past on an unofficial capacity. So I think that helped too. And I'm forever grateful to guys like Perez and Alex Milne who stepped up to bat and said, yeah, Daniel's good. Proto Man's good. And so those opportunities came up. And then one thing led to another. First, I did the very first writing gig I ever got professionally, officially with Transformers was Fun Publication was doing a retail store version of their comics, which I believe are done through Udon. If I remember correctly, I think Udon at the time was the licensor for that. So they would bring over the BotCon exclusive comics to your local comic book store. But what they do is they like to have exclusive content in there for that version. That way, you could double dip. You want the BotCon, you got the comic, but you want the retail version because there's extra stuff in it. So I wrote the bios for Zap Trap and another King Woderos, I think it was. Shows I've written so many things you forget. But that was something like I know it was Zap Trap was the first one. So little Diaclone homage bio Insecticons kind of thing. That was the first thing I did. I did that. The art was done by Matt Frank, who I love. I love Matt Frank, and colors by Thomas Deere. Thomas Deere, close friend locally here in Montreal, who's also worked with IDW. So that was a cool little project. We did this little bio page. First thing I ever got the road right, just a bio page. That's it. That was the first thing. But I've done comics before on a indie kind of thing. So those were also kind of how that came about. And next thing you know, we're talking with, I believe his name was Jason Breeze. Maybe Aaron could confirm this with me because he was still around at the time. But there was the guy who was in charge of their copy stuff, and copy is for copyright and for packaging. And they were doing, no, maybe Aaron wasn't there at the time because John Warden was the lead design. Okay, so but there's a guy Jason Breeze, and he was kind of like in charge of that, and they're like, hey, we need someone to do like X number of Combiner War stuff, and it would be like mostly if I had to like simplify it, deluxes, all deluxes. There was one or two Voyagers, but mostly like Combaticons, all of those Autobot ones, like the repaint of Ironhide, the repaint of Mirage and stuff. Simple bios, you know. The only other one that kind of is outside of that price point, the Lio Kaiser box set, which is all deluxes really when you think about it, except for one. But so, you know, talking to people, getting those opportunities. It's like an interview in a lot of ways, but I still had something to show them. The thing is that if you want to write something and write Transformers specifically, you have to have written something. The worst part is like people be like, "Oh, I want to write Transformers." It's like, "Well, have you written anything?" "Oh, I don't have anything." Well, you got to have something to show, and I had tons of stuff to show from before. So, yeah, where are we at here? Orlando Chavez, who in the Transformer world can rival your Transformer knowledge? Monzo would probably be the only person, but the thing is that there's stuff that I know that Monzo doesn't know, and there's stuff that I'll forget that Monzo will remember. Like Monzo's the kind of guy, if you go like, hey, say the name of every Spy Changer variant, he'd probably be able to pull that up quicker than I can, where I'll be like, it's like there's some right there, but so, but there we have different knowledge in different areas. I specialize more in the Japanese stuff and the obscure, um, where he specializes more in what is really easily accessibly out there. But we're pretty even. I wouldn't say like one knows more than the other. We're both cool dudes. Uh, where are we at here? Cringe McCringle. So what you're saying, Proto, is I just need to walk up and start talking to them. Well, yeah, just you have to. We don't live in a day and age now where it's like they put out a job posting, you know? Like especially in the comic book world, it's not like there's like we're looking for a writer for the next Transformer comic. It really it really has a lot to do with you put yourself in a situation where you get interviewed without knowing you're getting interviewed. Because when I was talking to Jesse Witherich for like the early BotCon stuff, I didn't know that was going to happen. It was more just, hey, there's Jesse. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, we need to write this. Oh, hey, we need to write Tigatron's bio. We need to write Ravage's bio. We need to write Flash Century's bio. We need to write, turning my head to remember who else. The Scorponok bio that ended up never getting released. Um, like it just happens. Hey, we need someone for this. We need someone for that. The best story that I always tell people is how And you might not like the guy, but Rob Liefeld, the guy who created Deadpool and the Cable books and everything and X-Force, you know how Rob Liefeld got his job? He just showed up to a comic convention, started talking to Marvel and DC guys, you know, and hey, do you want to fill in on our Black Panther book? We need someone to fill in for issue number 3 right now. Rest is history. No, didn't plan on it, but it happened. I want to make sure I'm missing anything here. Link CW, so I was wondering if a 3-pack with a tape deck, Soundwave, and Megatron Shockwave will suffer from yellowing issues, or it's better plastic. Are you talking about the Nemesis boarding ship 3-pack? I'm going to assume it's probably the same factories that make the others. It's just a matter of, are they color sensitive to light? I hope they're fine. I can't answer that, unfortunately, because I don't have one. Link CW says, Proto, do you have the Netflix Soundwave? Is it yellowing? Do you think the 3-pack Megatron will have the same? Let's take a look. Where is he? Where is that damn Soundwave? Oh, did I have him in the other display? All right, that's why. Alrighty, let's take a look. Yeah, it looks okay. No yellowing on him. You know who's yellowing? It's that damn Artfire is yellowing. Jeez, what was wrong with Artfire? No, it looks okay. I'm not gonna bring it over. I have everything set up in there, but he looks fine. The only I'm kind of a bad example though because I'm in a really good climate controlled environment in Canada. Like here's one that's supposed to be yellowing like crazy. You know, let's talk about Mister over here, Tigatron. He's not yellowing. Show me where the yellow. Like obviously this is like naturally the color of the toy. That's how it's supposed to be. But like he's not yellowing my Tigatron, and he's one that I heard like supposedly had like brutal yellowing on him, and he sits right here next to me every time because I like Tigatron and Cheetor, so I have them displayed over there with the crew. So, but I'm a bad example. There's no windows in this room. This room is in a basement, so it's climate controlled, so it's very like cool all the time. It doesn't suffer from anything. But um, but that art fire, the art fire, what I think happened, it got super yellowed because I wasn't its original owner. So whoever owned it before, obviously not in a climate controlled environment. So it yellowed long before I ever cracked open that box, you know? But yeah, Tom McNeil, yeah, I haven't seen too much yellowing on any of my figures. It's, you have to, I think I did a segment about it on the podcast. The new plastic toys today, their biggest issue, I think, has nothing to do with sun exposure or light exposure. I think it has a lot to do with heat now, like humid environments, hot environments, and you know some places in the states could be pretty sweltering. You know, so it's something where I think maybe being in Canada and having ridiculously cold winter, like 6 months out of the year, works to its favor in a way. Where if you're someone who ordered something off of Amazon and you know they leave the box in front of your door and that day it reaches like you know insanely hot temperature. Proto Rube AC, no windows, only LED lights, maybe just. But here's the thing: it has air conditioning. But this is what I always ask people: when you're not home, or when people are not home, you're not running that air conditioning. You're probably not running it. You probably put it low, and that's when you're gone 8 hours out of the day. You know, it's going to get affected. So that's something where you have to you have to really consider that. And the plastic that they used, unfortunately, that MABS plastic is not the best plastic in the world. We're not in the ABS plastic world of like the Unicron trilogy. I mean, every single one of those Unicron trilogy toys. Sorry, the mic is in the way, but Every single one of those Unicron trilogy toys, Energon, Cybertron, and then Armada's up there. Not as I own every single one of them. Not a single one of them are yellowed. Not a single one. Every single one of them is perfectly fine. There's no GPS. Like, what's the most fragile thing of those? Let me think about that, actually. What's the most fragile one of the bunch? Well, obviously, maybe the Optimus with his gold plastic today, the Armada one. Hmm. Not many. Hey, Aaron, you had a pretty good run in terms of QC. Not a lot of issues with a lot of these over 3 years. Uh, Ashna, the only figure I have any yelling on is my S Shatterglass Starscream joints, but I'm in Michigan. I don't have Shatterglass Starscream, so I wish I could give you an example and let you know if how mine would be. I have the original Shatterglass Starscream. I have the Collector Club Shatterglass Starscream. I don't have the new one. Uh, I don't do well with heat. My AC is on high all summer. But when you're not home, is it on? That's the one thing people don't think about. Everyone goes to work or they go out for Walmart for 3 hours and they turn off the AC and everything goes back down, to Link CW. So is there a way to fix it? There is ways. It's a process of putting it in a specific chemical and then having it have LED lights on it. There's a lot of different guys on YouTube that show how to do that, but you got to work with chemicals. You're working with a lot of really corrosive chemicals, and you got to kind of ask yourself, is it worth it to have that stuff in your house and breathing that to be able to reverse that process? You know, I've seen a lot of Star Wars guys do it because their stormtroopers would turn yellow, the old ones. So Sharkticon from Energon was pretty fragile. Was he? Let me take a look. He's one of my favorites. Was he? I don't know. What's fragile about him? Got his little cannons there that are made out of rubber. So that wouldn't, like I could understand maybe those were fragile, but they're made out of a rubber that's kind of flexible. So, no. Is he fragile? This mold's fantastic. This is like no joke, like a top 3 Energon toy mold. That's why it's so easy for me to pull him up because I posed him right at the front because he's one of my favorites. Love that guy. Love that mold. They should have repainted that one more. They only did the Bacon ones, and that was it. Oh, and then they did that art color scheme one at some point. I shouldn't have messed with the camera. Oh well. Uh, the cannons on my Sharkticon become brittle and crack after. Oh, well, see, there you go. So here's your problem. They're rubber. So you clearly had a very dry environment. What happened is all the dryness dried out the rubber of those things, and the rest was history. Mine still moved just fine. And I'm the original owner of that. I bought that off the shelves in Montreal all those years ago. And it sat only in basements. It sat in my basement when I lived with my parents, and then sat in the basement here when I moved out and bought my own place. So T-Formers 2002 Superlink Mega Zarek seems to be hard to find with intact shoulder sections. Superlink Mega Zarek. So Superlink Mega Zarek is the Scorponok one, which I have both of them over there. I wish I could show you guys better. So there's the American one and the Japanese one. I mean, they look fine. I'm not going to move that one. That one's a mess. That one's too big and he's all over the place. But, you know, so it's something where environment has a lot to do with it. It really does. When you're a vinyl record collector like my dad is, vinyl records it's a piece of plastic that's as flat as a pancake, and you want to keep it as flat as a pancake because when it's on the record player, it has to turn smoothly. And records, if they're not taken care of properly and they're in humid environments, they warp. And because they warp, then when you put it on the record player, it's all like bleh, it's like a bumpy road. So it could lead to the music not being played properly or the music skipping. So I was always I learned through him taking care of his stuff, how to take care of my stuff, keep it out of those bad environments. Pretty sure it's a mild form of GPS. GPS is different. GPS is a kind of plastic that has little shards in them to achieve that gold plastic kind of look, which then leads to it becoming brittle over time when oxygen gets in and expands it. Dry rot is different. Dry rot is rubber that then has been dried out. Because what makes rubber, which is the oils, they secrete out, and the oils are what kept the rubber being rubbery. Wish I had an example here. This is probably the best I could use for now, but like something like this being rubbery, kind of but I think this is PVC. This is probably PVC. This, but you know, the the rubber coming out of it, which then becomes oily, and then it dries out the figure, and then when it dries out, then it could crack. Uh, Fire Convoy's tires from El Kevo, as he said, that's because those are PVC tires. Those do dry out. That they dry out and the weight. If you keep it in vehicle mode, you have what's called tire squaring. This is another problem with die-cast car collectors. What happens is if you leave a car, let me use Hot Rod here as an example. So if you leave the car mode, if you left it like that, and this is a light figure, but if it's a heavy figure, what happens is all the weight goes on these tires and it makes it get flattened and then it dries out. Now, obviously the tires that are used on this is the reissue Hot Rod. The tires that are used on the reissues use a PVC plastic where the originals use more of a strong kind of rubber. So you could right away tell the difference between the reissue and the original in terms of the material that was used for the tires. Fire Convoy, aka RID Optimus Prime, uses PVC tires and they always split. Yeah, keep them in robot mode and keep them in an environment that is like super dry. That's all. Like, don't use like a dehumidifier in the room or something. And that's just not good for you to use a dehumidifier all the time. I meant Megazarek. His shoulders seem to have a GPS. The US one is fine. I don't know. Looks like maybe those forearms could be, but I don't know. I haven't messed with it in a while. I had to transform them to do that display, so. Link CW, it's crazy that that a toy less than a year old and screws up and is worse than a 40-year-old toy. Well, it's because the world we live in now, the plastics that are used with Transformer toys are unfortunately, I hate to say it, not always the best quality of plastic. It really isn't. I compare it to like, let me show you. Let me give you a great example. One moment, bear with me.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Okay, so on the core level of bootlegs, I have two of these here. You're gonna see. So this is San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Alternators Rodimus, right? This is the original. It's not a bootleg. I can even show you guys how you can tell the difference. Now, the bubble here is not yellowed because the plastic that was used for the bubble was a high quality ABS plastic that's used for the window here. Here is the bootleg. That's yellower than, look at that. How you could tell the bootleg part, let me just show you quickly. Easiest way to tell is the font. If you see where it says opening engine cover, right? See how it looks there? It's like a different font that they used for it. So, but man, like bootleg plastic forever has suffered from yellowing because it's low quality plastic. You know, if you're a bootleg factory, you're going to use the low quality plastic for your bootlegs, not the high quality plastic. But as time progressed, now Hasbro kind of has to use that more MABS. I don't want to say bootleg plastic, but it's a lower grade of plastic. And a lot of those plastics also are not light treated. They don't test them for yellowing or stuff like that. So they only learn after the fact that certain figures suffer from these problems. And it's to keep stuff cheaper. Hey, we're going to release these Transformers, but we need to keep the costs down so we can keep our profits high. So our Q4 is good, so we could tell our investors, hey, everything's great. And it's not just a Transformer product problem, it goes across all the different lines. But that is an issue. Well, you know, everything that was happening with Victory Saber, Link CW, it's because Link's, he says here, if my Victory Saber disintegrated, I would be pissed. If, if that happened, I mean, I would understand people being really angry because when you're making, and I have very strong opinions on the Haslab items. I feel that a lot of them are retail items that they just ask more for. And if you're going to sell them something that more or less is a retail item and it also has the retail plastic quality, that's something that's always bothered me. And I feel something like Star Saber is probably going to have yellowing at some point, unfortunately. It's okay now, but I don't think there's enough of a big population report in order to figure that out yet. I think when other people get it, then we'll know. It's not, it's something where people are saying you get what you pay for. That wasn't the case, like I said, name a here. I'm just gonna now I screwed up the camera, but I don't care. Name a Armada toy that suffers from yellowing. Name an Energon toy that suffers from yellowing. You know, if anything, those toys have held up insanely well 20 years later. 20 years. But we're talking about a Tigatron that came out in 2019. You know, the Unicron Haslab, Princeton Phalanx 59 said Unicron is the only legitimate Hasbro. The Unicron Haslab, the reason why it's so good was because it was the first Haslab item. Because they had a big idea that was almost too big of an idea. Uh, it didn't get the numbers they were hoping for, which is unfortunate. Um, they were hoping for way more. But the point is that they were hoping for something that would make a ton of money. So they had this big, crazy idea. It didn't meet the goals initially, so they stretched the closing date for the goal, and it ended up getting made. Some sacrifices were made in terms of the painting. They didn't paint the inside of the maw properly, but everything else, more or less. I mean, when I look at my Unicron, it's like more or less a lot of it was molded in plastic, and they were able to get away with it. But I think that they learned a lesson from Unicron. They were like, okay, let's never do something big and crazy like that again. And something like Star Saber, I'm going to say it 100 times and I'll say it again. Star Saber could have been a commander class toy. Victory Leo could have been a large leader class. And those could have been two retail products that would have not equaled $189.99. You know? Yeah, with modern prices today of leader classes and and commanders, yeah, it would almost reach 189.99, but still wouldn't even with modern prices today. But with the inflation and everything post 2020. But I think they could have been two retail products and people still would have been happy and it would have been more or less the same quality. Um, I firmly believe that we got just pretty much the retail products. So that's why, to me, if you're gonna do a HasLab item, and I look at all the other companies and their like when GI Joe gets HasLab items, those are items that I know could never exist in retail. Look at those big crazy vehicles; they can't exist in retail. There's not enough space for it. Retail wouldn't carry that stuff. So I wouldn't, they could get away with it. The mini bots were an afterthought. The little micromasters, those were an incentive. Hey, if we get this far, then we can. So after we make $4.4 million, then we'll give you two micromasters. Those were incentive items. I don't even count those. Those were something where if we didn't get it far enough, we wouldn't even have gotten those. If it would have just got funded, we wouldn't even have gotten the mini bots. They needed, what was it? They needed another $1.9 million to justify doing the MicroMasters, which were previously existing molds that were just being repainted. So it's not like they were new molds also. It's not like they were doing new tooling. Look, it's something where, you know, at the end of the day, I still love the Star Saber. I think it's great. I think it's cool. I was not a fan of how it was put out there for the price for fans. That was kind of the thing that always kind of didn't sit with me, you know? Uh, Gooey, I do own a G2 Electro. I broke my first one transforming it back in 2001, and then I bought a second one and I never transformed it. It stayed in robot mode permanently. And I have a third one that I keep mint on card. And why is the camera still here? Shit. I totally forgot. Um, I have a third one mint on card, which you could barely see, but it's over. It's on the wall. I think I did a photo shoot on Instagram of Electro once. That showed all the Electros together, even the Bakan one. How much time we got left? We got 14 minutes left. Let's get some super chats in. What's up, Fair Lady Z? Haven't seen you in a while. Are you going to be at TFCon LA coming up? And does anyone have a room? Because it's looking pretty dire, the rooms. They're all selling out very quickly. Link CW, that would make me stop collecting. Give us quality. I'd buy everything, the whole line. Unfortunately, you know what the sad truth is? I forget who I talked about with this, but I was saying, like, if they gave us quality, they'd put up the price. They'd make us pay for it, unfortunately. Like, we have just enough time to ask what is for dinner. Vietnamese chicken, and Vietnamese chicken is pretty much just the sauce and the way it's marinated. Vietnamese chicken, which is just drumsticks, Brussels sprouts with brown rice and orange juice on the side. That's literally down to the T what I'm having tonight. And tomorrow, if I play my cards right, we bought lamb roll fondue, like the thin cuts of lamb, and we're gonna do something with that tomorrow. Good stuff. Went to the Asian supermarket, got a lot of delicious things for tomorrow. Didn't do much toy shopping though, unfortunately. It was a very, very quiet day. I'm kind of I know that I know that Black Friday I'm probably gonna pop in and check out some cool stuff. Toronto again. Well, it's Toronto it is. I'll definitely I'm always at Toronto. Toronto is outside my front door. Media Max for $5. Found a video store in Milwaukee that apparently Quentin Tarantino shouted out on his podcast. I rented the Sinful Dwarf 72. Gonna watch it tonight. Which video store was that? We had a very good video store chat last week, Media Max. You should have been there. We were talking the classic, you're going to Blockbuster. It's a Friday night. Mom says to you, or dad says to you, you could get one video game, one movie, one chocolate bar or snack, could be chips, but one chocolate bar or snack, and one soda. What do you get? One video game, one movie, and it's 1997 in my case because I'd have to because obviously it's Blockbuster, so it'd be 97 for me. More than 20 years ago because Proto Man's an old man. But yeah, which video store is that? Milwaukee. I've never been to Milwaukee. I've been to like so many places in the States. I've never went there. Link CW says we are already paying for it. Yeah, well, in my opinion, I mean, I don't want to get deep into it, but it's like the moment we got all that free money in the mail, the first thing all my finance friends were like, here comes inflation. Oh, you got all that money now? Get ready to pay more for stuff. Oh, minimum wage is going to be increased. Oh, we're just going to increase the price of everything. It's just how it is. If big companies will never, ever, ever take an L. They will never. Oh, we'll lose $5 a year just so you guys could afford $5 more. Nope, never going to happen. They always have to present profits to their investors. They are scared of losing all kinds of different things when it comes to stockholders and stuff. Like, to them, that's more important than anything. All their stockholders are more important than fans that, oh no, the plastic is breaking on my toys. The only reason, look, they were bragging about, oh man, let's bring in the boy over here, sealed. You know, they were bragging about, where is that stupid sign that they put on their boxes? It's not on here. The plastic free. But they were bragging about, oh, it's all plastic free. Oh, they were bragging about that. And then look what happened. Walmart and Target were probably like, no, stop that. Yes, yes, master. Yes, master. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We won't try to save the environment again. In fact, we're going to put up the price $2 extra. It's how it is, yo. It's unfortunately how it is. Media Max for $2 says it's called Video Nerd. It's $20 a month rental program. So I guess like you pay $20 and you could rent as much as you want now. That's a pretty good modern take on the modern rental store when you think about it. Do something that's more of a subscription service rather than an individual renting situation. Because if you do like, oh, every time you go in, you have to pay $5 to rent a movie, that's one thing, and with late fees. But if you do a subscription service, there's almost more of an incentive to then want to go out and rent stuff. Or alternatively, if they don't rent anything at all, the business still makes money. That is pretty smart, actually. That's a really good alternative. We get Netflix instead, and that's why Blockbuster died. Yeah, well, there's a lot more that was lost with Netflix existing than just the convenience of streaming multiple movies in a night. Think about it, like a Blockbuster was a place that employed people. So at least a minimum of, a single Blockbuster has maybe 5 to 7 employees, let's say at all hours of every day. So 5 to 7 employees lost their jobs. The food industry, so all the snacks, all the popcorn, sodas, potato chips, the Haagen-Dazs machine, all of that industry ends up getting screwed over because now a Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. The video game industry gets screwed over because now all those games that would have been rented now are not part of that equation because of a Netflix, because that has nothing to do with it. Many different factors. Many different factors. When you lose a Blockbuster, you lose more than just the simplicity of you don't just gain the simplicity of that. There's a lot of different economic factors that end up getting screwed over in the long run too. That's why something like that just kind of sucks in a lot of ways. Really does. Let me just make sure everything's okay here. There we go. But yeah, man, oh man. Where are we at here? I want to make sure I don't lose anything. Live 40 minutes away from Milwaukee. Any WWE pay-per-view VHS, Twizzlers, and Cherry Coke. Very good. They're answering the questions now. So if you say 10 people like you and me, just stop buying any of it, and in 1 year, I bet they'll. Yeah, well, of course, you have to understand if any number of people check out of buying products, any number of people, they feel it, they do. And it's the domino effect. What happens is you stop buying stuff in your local area. And then all of a sudden your Walmart goes, oh man, we're stuck with all of this product because for some reason no one's buying it now. And then they don't buy cases from Hasbro. So those later waves then get low sales. And then Hasbro sees, oh man, those later waves aren't selling. No one, they're not getting orders from Walmart. And then the rest is history. That's what happens afterwards. Media Max, they had so much great stuff. I tipped the owner $20. Also, I think Deathsaurus looks like top-notch quality. I have no qualms about paying that price. It looks great. Don't get me wrong, it looks great. But when I saw Evan pull out the 3 boxes and all of Deathsaurus fit in this tiny box that was like smaller than a commander class box, And then he removed it, and then under it was like the stand and stuff, which is all stuff we would have never needed. That could have just been the Breastmasters and everything. It made me go, ugh, it could have been a retail product, unfortunately. We didn't need like 18 pieces of blast effects. We didn't need the living metal death cannon, although it's cool, don't get me wrong, but we didn't need it. We didn't need the throne. We didn't need a lot of that stuff. It's it is what it is. I'm still getting one sent to me through sponsorship. I'm still getting one, but at the same time I feel bad for people that would have had to pay, considering it just doesn't add up in a lot of ways. Where are we at here? Paul, Blockbuster was the destination for the community. Yeah, well, not even just Blockbuster, your local video store, even if you had a mom and pop shop. For us, like we weren't big Blockbuster people in our family, but we were Video Illusion. Video Illusion was our local video store. And Video Illusion was our destination. Friday would come. Mom's going to rent a movie, I'm going to rent a Nintendo or Super Nintendo game. We'll swing by the dollar store, pick up some popcorn or some chips or whatever, because Video Illusion didn't really have junk food there. But the point is, look, they made money. Then we went to the dollar store. We then put money into the economy of the junk food or food in general. Or you go to a pizza place, you pick up a pizza, or you pick up something. The point is, by going out and engaging with a store, you then make other impulse purchases as a result that are connected with that. That's literally how Costco survives, their whole process. So by getting rid of one of those aspects, the other ones suffer too. I'm pretty sure when Blockbuster's closed, tons of all the local shops. If you were a bodega or a dépanneur, as we call them here in Quebec, if you were like a Quickie Mart or whatever that was next to a Blockbuster, I guarantee 200% your sales went down astronomically once they closed, because then all those people that would have gone into a Blockbuster to pick up a movie would have went next door to get a 2 liter of soda or whatever. So a lot of people suffered for it, unfortunately. Redoing your Will Murphy says you're redoing his toy room. Any suggestion on tips? Deep shelving. I say that every time. Deep shelving. Don't waste a wall, because this line never ends. This hobby never ends. You're going to run out of space. Make sure you make the best amount of your space. Deep shelving. Get rid of boxes. You don't need boxes. Most boxes, I keep like one or two or this or that, but most boxes, get rid of them. They take too much space. They don't increase the value of your toys. Trust me. They really don't. It's not the 80s anymore where everyone threw out boxes. Yeah, okay, maybe if everyone throws out boxes now, maybe like in 20 years they might be worth money, their boxes, but the problem is no one's throwing out their boxes. For every one guy like me that throws out boxes and card backs and stuff like that, there's like 50,000 guys that are keeping them, thinking that they're going to be worth money. So I doubt it. T-Formers 2002. I'm currently a part of the Blockbuster generation. Went to one of the stores once when I was very young during its closeout sales. I I went to a Blockbuster 3 times in my life as a kid, because we did have one up the street. The only reason why I went to that Blockbuster was because Blockbuster would get exclusive games that you could rent that's for some reason nowhere else would have. So like apparently Blockbuster had like the exclusive renting rights to Final Fight Guy and Clay Fighters 63 and a third, not a Sculptor's Cut. So like certain games you could only get at Blockbuster. Beast Wars was another one, although I never rented it from there. So as a result, I would have to rent from Blockbuster for certain games. They also had a pretty good PlayStation selection. So when I would go, I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, but my friend, we would always go to Blockbuster to rent games. But the last time I went to a Blockbuster was when one of them was closing out and going out of business, so they were getting rid of all their video games. So I bought a bunch of games for like dirt cheap, bunch of PlayStation 3 and Wii games for like nothing, like $5-10 each, Canadian. Aaron Archer says, "Why do I remember a Japanese Machine Wars comic?" There was none, Aaron. Aaron, you're thinking, you know what you're thinking of, Aaron? You're thinking of the Generation 2 toys that came with little mini comics. They came with comics. So because Machine Wars and G2 have a very similar aesthetic, you're probably thinking that. Which I'm not going to go reach for those G2 comics right now. They're there. They're nice and sad. That's what you're probably referring to. You probably got some G2 Japanese stuff when you were in Japan, and then you probably are mixing those two up. That's what I'm thinking. The real question is why do Japanese Machine Wars? The real question is why does the Japanese Machine Wars comic remember you? Joey, how you doing, brother? With the $10 gold super chat in the clutch, because Joey's the man. For Haslab Deathsaurus, they mentioned the original retail version was going to be a Studio Series 86 Grimlock partial. Well, let's pull that up, Joey. Let's pull that up right now because you're talking about it, and then I'll finish your thing there. Where is it? Where is the Deathsaurus? No, that's not it. Next one. There we go. I'll read it there. For Haslab Deathsaurus, they mentioned the original retail version was going to be a Studio Series 86 Grimlock partial. I can't imagine how many, well, shortcuts they would have had to make. Well, you know what? Yes and no, there would have been shortcuts. Here's the thing about Studio Series 86 Grimlock that a lot of people don't talk about. Number one, he had Wheelie with him. If you don't have Wheelie with him, right away, some more of the budget could come back. That's more budget for paint. That's more budget for plastic. So right away, by Wheelie not being there, you could have done a little more. Now, look at Grimlock's arms, like his arm pieces in the back, those arm covers that make his back wings, if you will. You have less of Wheelie. You could do bigger wings now. There's little things. Maybe the breast masters would have been sold separately. They would have been sold as like two, what do you call it? Would have been two battle masters. That's probably what they would have done there. But I firmly believe 100% commander class, it could have happened. Commander class, leader class, yeah, there's some shortcuts would have had to been done. But commander class, it would have happened. For sure. Mikey and Louie. Oh my God, it's so ugly. Let's argue about it. Go on Twitter and look at my post and then look at all the replies. The madness. The madness. And speaking of the madness, we're at the 2-hour mark. So we are done tonight. Thank you all, everyone who came by and who did the super chats and everything. Thank you for the love and support of the podcast. Once again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, again, check out the Patreon link down below. Click on the Patreon link and come join the Patreon to help support the podcast. If Patreon is not your thing, we have the YouTube member button. You can join that also. And be a Patreon member is always, I find you get a little more extra because you get the Discord and everything. And of course, also support our sponsors, Symbiote Studios. Check out their 50% off sale that's going on right now. SymbioteStudios.com. Get 50% off on your Transformer plushes, pins, and t-shirts. Go get yourself a Catnip Bravo shirt. Again, thank you to Hasbro Pulse and all the love and support they give us too, sending us cool product and everything in the mail. And the seats for the lovely seat, of course. And of course, thank you for everyone else who super chatted tonight and supported. And of course, my YouTube members, those are the beautiful green names that have been popping up all over tonight. Our Patreon members, Gooey is one of them who's in the chat right now. And I think T-Formers 2002 is somewhere bumping around in there. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Enjoy your evening. It was a beautiful day talking to you guys and a beautiful evening more so. Fair Lady Z's actually also one of my Patreon people too. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Take care. We're going to chill tonight. I'm going to go play some video games, enjoy some delicious food, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, and everything like that. It's a beautiful world out there. And don't let the negativity and all the craziness that social media and everything tells you. The world's a lot cooler than you think it is. There's a lot cooler people than you think you're seeing. There's not a lot of negativity out there. And there's too many cool things in this world to be negative about it all. I'm out of here. Take care. Love y'all. I'm out.